What's up, everybody? My name is Chris, and today we're going to be looking at the bronze medal country of North America, Canada, and the only 45 notable celebrities to ever come out of that country. I have here a tier list that I will use to rank all these maple syrup drinking icons, so let's get right into it. Up first is arguable MMA GOAT Georges Rush St. Pierre, former UFC welterweight and middleweight champion, incredible fighter, incredible person. This is going to be a comfortable A tier. Next, we got Pamela Anderson. I can't name anything she's ever done outside of Borat, so that's going to be a D tier right there. Now, here we got the excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart. And if you put an S in front of Hitman, you got Bret Hart's exact ranking on this list. First S tier of the day. Up next, we got Ryan Reynolds. I don't need to go much into that. You know he's at least an A tier. He might even go up as the list goes on. Eugene Levy, Schitt's Creek is cool. He's going to be in C tier, along with Evangeline Lilly from Lost and Ant-Man. Pro wrestler Gail Kim, she's fine. I'll go C tier for her. Jim Carrey, he's incredible. I want to put him in B tier, just because it's a little empty right now. And Mike Myers, not the killer, but the Cat in the Hat guy. I'm gonna go C, but honestly, he might get pushed down. Nathan Fillion. I loved him in Castle. I'm going to push him up to B tier. Oh. And then we got Rory McDonald, former UFC welterweight title challenger, had one of the greatest fights of all time with Robbie Lawler. And for that alone, he is also going to go B tier. Now we got Knicks forward RJ Barrett. He choked a little bit in the Eastern semis against the Heat. So that's going to put him in D tier. Will Arnett, voice of Bojack, he's going to go into A. And then Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, he's going to go into S, which is right now only occupied by former pro wrestlers or current pro wrestlers. Edge is still active. Avril Lavigne is going to be A tier. She's produced nothing but bangers. Baby No Money is going to be D tier because he only has one hit. Up next, we got Chris Benoit. He is going to go F tier. That's what happens when you commit a double murder suicide. Chris Jericho is going to be A tier. He's been incredible in the business for 20 plus years now. Dan Aykroyd is going to be B tier. Love Ghostbusters. Deadpool, I actually learned is Canadian while making this tier list. And I'm going to put him in A tier right next to Ryan Reynolds because they're like forever linked in my mind now. Dylan Brooks is going to be F tier. His play on the court is almost as bad as what Chris Benoit did. Drake, of course, is going to be S tier. For most people, he is Canada. And if you were to ask me to name a Canadian, it's going to be Drake. Up next is Hayden Christensen from the Star Wars prequels. And Revenge of the Sith was good, so I'm going to put him at C. Up next is Howie Mandel. Deal or No Deal, I wasn't a big fan. I liked playing it at the arcade, but other than that, D tier. Jennifer Tilly from the Chucky films, D tier. I just don't know much about her. Then we got Justin Bieber. I think for as high as his peak was, I can't reasonably put him any lower than B tier. Kiefer Sutherland. Not that famous. Don't know what he's from, but I recognize him. But that's not gonna keep him out of D tier. Matthew Perry, the fourth best cast member of Friends and the third best villain in Fallout New Vegas. So that averages out, high 3, maybe 4. I'm gonna put him at a high C here, like the juice boxes. Michael Cera, he's fine. Michael J. Fox, who? Nardwuar, though, now we're talking. And I'm going to put him at B, just because I feel like I need to keep this even. Nina Dobrev, who I did not know was Canadian, I consider her to be more Bulgarian, because that's where she was born. But according to Wikipedia, no, she's a legit Canadian. And a B tier one at that. John LaJoie is going to be C tier. If I made this last year, he would have been higher. Rachel McAdams from Southpaw. I don't know. C tier as well. Keanu, I think, has to be S tier. He's one of the best Canadians of all time. And Rick Fox, former forward for the Lakers, and has also appeared in a few Jake and Amir videos. And for that, he's going to be A tier. Up next is Robin Scherbatsky, not our first fictional character because we had Deadpool. But she is from How I Met Your Mother, and she is also going to be A tier. Ryan Gosling is up next, and of course he's one of the best Ryans in the world, and a pretty good Canadian. I believe though he's just a clear tier below Ryan Reynolds, so I'm going to put him right below him in high B, in between Jim Carrey and Nathan Fillion. Seth Rogen is great, of course, but he hasn't done much lately, and that is going to cost him. He is going to drop down to B for that. And then up next, Oklahoma City Thunder guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best current Canadian representation in the NBA, and he is going to be A tier. He just made an All-NBA team. I think that's a great spot for him. Got our last 5 here, starting with Stephen Amell from Arrow. That show was pretty good, so I'm going to put him at B tier. And then Hall of Fame point guard Steve Nash. He is a Hall of Famer, so I am going to put him with A, along with right next to SGA. The Weeknd, my favorite current musical artist, he is going to be S tier, of course. And then Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto 5, who I would never have guessed is Canadian, but he apparently is. And hot take, my least favorite Grand Theft Auto 5 protagonist, I'm going to move him to D tier, and I'm not just doing that so my list looks more even. Then lastly, Wayne Gretzky, the best Canadian of all time, and the hockey GOAT, of course, will need to be S tier as well. So 6 S tiers and 2 F tiers is a lot more unbalanced than I usually like my tier list to be. But the rest of it is pretty even, so I do like how this list turned out. Alright, this is going to do it for me today. I promise you I will have another video uploaded this week. I'm just so full of ideas right now. But for this specific tier list, here's how it looks. Pretty good. I'm getting so good at this. I'm an icon. Alright, I'll see y'all.